Have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up in a world where your own species has been forgotten, where your identity, your origin, and even your DNA have become a legend lost in time? Now imagine discovering that you carry within yourself the only key to humanity's salvation. And every empire in the universe wants it. But you don't know who you are, nor whom you can trust. It all begins here, in Project Eden. Absolute silence is shattered by the sound of liquid, draining, followed by mechanical clicks. The cryogenic chamber lid slowly lifts, releasing cold vapor that dances in the air like living mist. Inside, a naked man gasps for breath, covered in ancient sensors and broken wires. His eyes move slowly, adjusting to the bluish dimness of the room. The emergency lighting system flickers red, a signal of collapse. The man tries to speak, but only a hoarse whisper escapes. Where am I? A synthetic voice interrupts the moment. Status. Subject. Kale Ethan. Unauthorized. Activation. Genetic integrity analysis. 97.3%. Master code detected. Initiating containment protocol. But the system fails. Sparks fly. Something, or someone, sabotaged the laboratory. Ethan falls onto the cold metal floor, struggling to rise. His muscles are weak, but his survival instinct remains intact. He walks through damp, damaged corridors where bioluminescent plants have claimed parts of the structure, and organic growths sprout from the walls as if the lab itself is merging. With nature, he finds a semi-intact console. A security video activates. Desperate human scientists. Explosions. Screams. A woman looks directly into the camera before the collapse. If anyone finds this, if Ethan wakes, he needs to know the master DNA is within him. He is the key. Protect him at all costs. The video cuts off abruptly. An alarm blares. Something approaches. Heavy footsteps echo down the hall. They are not human. Ethan senses, deep in his soul, that this world no longer belongs to humanity, nor to him. But something inside him pulses, reacts, activates. A strange heat burns in his chest. Visual codes appear on his retina as if implanted, and then the inevitable question, what have they done to me? He does not know yet. But he is not just the last awakened human. He is the last pure fragment of a legacy almost erased, and every empire in the universe knows it. The world Ethan awoke to is not the same Earth his ancestors left behind. The atmosphere is thick, heavy, with biotech microparticles. Cities no longer exist as we once knew them, replaced by hybrid megastructures, living edifices built by alien races that feed on the very matter around them. The artificial intelligence guiding him in the lab is damaged. It repeats fragments of what seems to be an encrypted diary. Project Eden. Primary genetic code, human. Purpose, resistance to SAN assimilation. Status, failure. Discontinuity, last bearer, activated. Ethan steps out of the facility and is immediately confronted by an alien sky. 3 moons orbit a warped horizon. Predator ships patrol the stratosphere like silent eagles. In the distance, pulsating organic towers mark the territory of the Tanari, hybrids who betrayed humanity to survive domination. He walks through ruins and mutant forests until a hooded figure approaches, metallic skin beneath layers of synthetic fabric. Deep, iridescent eyes study Ethan, as if they know exactly who he is. You are the remaining failure. The creature reveals himself as Viel, a dissident Tanari and former scientist who claims to have helped develop Project Eden. He hands Ethan an ancient device covered in moss and dead circuits. Inside, this is the truth about your origin and what was erased from history. The DNA you carry is not just pure, it's an activation code, a weapon, or a salvation. Ethan doesn't know if he can trust Viel, but something in him recognizes the device. When he touches it, images explode in his mind. Memories he never lived, wars he never witnessed, experiments no one should have conducted, silent nuclear explosions in space, humans genetically altered, children raised to endure pain, and the face of a Sarn emperor, cold, eternal, almost divine. When Ethan regains consciousness, he is surrounded. Sarn sentinels have found them. With grey eyes and ceremonial armor-like suits, they say nothing. They only raise their weapons. Vial whispers, "If they take you, the entire universe will be rewritten." Then everything moves too fast. Lights, gunfire, the dull sound of a biological explosion. Ethan runs, not for himself, but for something beginning to awaken inside him, a purpose he doesn't yet understand, but that already defines him. The mutant forest closes behind him like a living labyrinth. Ethan feels the presence of what pursues him, not just the Sarn, but something older, deeper. The Malocs, symbiotic parasites that don't just survive. They convert. In the world's shadows, they have infiltrated living beings, altering their bodies, memories, even their loyalties. They are the failure even the Sarn couldn't control. And now, they hunt the one thing that represents the only point of balance. Ethan Vale is wounded but remains steady. You need to understand, the Malocs aren't just an enemy. They were created from the fusion of the Sarn genome with degenerate human DNA, something that should have been discarded, but they evolved, gained consciousness. Now they want everything. Ethan and Vial reach an ancient human outpost, completely swallowed by alien nature. Flickering remnants of holograms still hover in the air. Ethan activates a terminal and watches a fragment of humanity's last transmission. If you are hearing this, it means we failed. The genetic arc was compromised. Project Eden was scattered among forgotten stars. But there is hope. A bearer. A legacy hidden inside the DNA. He will know when the time comes. Ethan realizes the message is for him. The terminal then reveals coordinates for a hidden structure. The Heart of Eden, a living installation that can respond only to his DNA, but time is against them. The Malocs have already begun infiltrating the Tanari towers. The Sarn sacrifice entire worlds to prevent the awakening of the genetic oracle. And Ethan begins to hear voices, whispers in a language he never learned, codes forming in his peripheral vision, as if the DNA itself is trying to communicate, or worse, being activated. Vial watches silently as Ethan trembles before a truth he had refused to accept until now. You are no longer just human, Ethan. You are the final interface, a link between creation and collapse. Far away, very far away, on the throne of a hive ship orbiting a dead star, the Sarn Emperor awakens from his millennial hibernation. The last oracle has been activated. Ethan and Vial cross the plains of living iron, a semi-mechanical ecosystem created by the Tanari through an ancient genetic pact with the Malocs before the rupture. The ground pulses. Each step is accompanied by an organic echo, as if the planet itself is breathing. On the horizon, black towers tear the sky. The Sarn obelisks, surveillance structures scanning the planet for signs of the lost DNA. Time drips like poison. Ethan begins to feel the changes. His skin vibrates under the light of certain stars. Memories he never lived flood his mind. Memories of extinct laboratories, voices of scientists who created him, and visions of Project Eden before the collapse. He is not just remembering, he is reconnecting. In the distance, the first Sarn hunters appear, tall, clad in armor that looks like fossilized bones and liquid technology. They don't speak, they only sense the genetic trace, and they have already identified him. Vale guides Ethan through subterranean fissures, forgotten tunnels, where the walls tell ancient stories, primitive drawings of humans fleeing multi-eyed beasts, of hybrid creatures that burned worlds for a lost lineage. They don't want you dead, Ethan. They want to open you. They want to extract the DNA like a relic. But what they don't know is that the code fused with you. Now, killing you means erasing the last trace of human creation. Further ahead, at the heart of the cave, they find a buried capsule. When Ethan approaches, it reacts. Lights dance. Metallic tissues retract. Inside, a human skeleton wrapped in alien moss, holding an object. A key. Not a physical one, but a symbol activated by biological recognition. When Ethan touches it, the full map of Project Eden is revealed in an organic hologram. Hidden planets, forgotten bases, genetic fragments scattered across the cosmos. At the center of the map, the true Eden. But time runs out. The sky explodes in scarlet thunder. The Sarn ships arrive. The sound that crosses the planet is not of engines. It is something ancient calling him. The Malocs respond. First, and the ground begins to move. The Malocs awaken. The earth trembles as if it remembered what it once was. Veins of bluish light ignite beneath the soil, running like living arteries. The Malocs are not a race in the conventional sense. They are a collective consciousness, spread across billions of symbiotic organisms. They slept for centuries, waiting for the right genetic pulse to awaken. Ethan. His presence is the catalyst. From the darkest corners of the cave, shadows take shape. Translucent tentacles emerge like liquid smoke, dancing in the air with a primitive intelligence. They don't attack. They recognize. They feel the lost DNA they secretly created now lives and evolved. Vale watches silently. There is reverence in her gaze and fear. The Malocs created Eden to preserve, but humans wanted to turn it into a weapon. When they realized their mistake, it was too late. Ethan feels something enter his mind. It's not pain. It's like a borrowed memory. A Malocs approaches, small, like a glowing lava, and touches his skin. The fusion is not physical, it's emotional. He sees the creation of the master DNA, the first human hybrid. The silent pact between Sarn, Tenari, and Malocs to destroy the threat before it changed the universal balance. He was the result of an experiment that united science and biological faith. And that's why he was hidden, not destroyed. Suddenly, a roar cuts through the cave. The Sarn troops have arrived. They are not ordinary soldiers. They are the Voids, pure genetic links, created only to hunt and extract rare lineages. They have no face, only symbiotic masks that feed on their prey's identity. They don't speak. They only extract. Vale pulls Ethan. The escape continues, through even deeper tunnels. But now, the Malocs accompany them, not as enemies, but as protectors. Small symbiotic fragments connect to Ethan's body, activating parts of the dormant DNA. He doesn't become stronger. He becomes aware. Aware of what he is, aware of what he carries, aware that perhaps Eden was never a place, but a bearer.